Cover 2 and cover 3 are pretty easy to beat right now. Both of them have openings deep, down the sidelines, up the seam, in the flat, are weak against the RPO and can be much better against the run. Man coverage and even a bit of man match coverage seem to be a lot more popular this year, partly because they themselves are better, partly because that's just how the meta evolved, but partly because the spot drop zones like cover 2 and 3 have become a lot softer. So let's try to change that a bit here. This is a coverage that I played a lot last year, and it seems to be even better this year. I still base out of man match palms, but there's still a heavy need for spot drop coverage, and this is the only one that I'll really play. It takes all of the best parts of cover 2 and all of the best parts of cover 3 and blends them into one coverage. We can call it Tampa 3, cover 3 invert, whatever we want to call it. The point is that it's going to help us be a lot more sound on defense. Is it the end all be all? No. Zone coverages will always have holes in them, but this will make those holes smaller, less obvious, and less predictable. So let's get started. So cover 2 or Tampa 2, where are we weak? Obviously, right between those two safeties, they have to cover a lot of ground. The mid read is there, supposed to kind of help out in that deep middle of the field there, but usually he's a slow linebacker or he's just ignoring certain routes altogether. This is something that most Madden players know, but just to set the stage a little bit here, I'll show you how we can easily hit that middle of the field there with just a backside post and a trips look. Go ahead and throw that. At the worst case, it's like 30 yards. Sometimes you can get even a one-play score from that. And it doesn't even need to be that complex. In a trips look, you can just send that tight end right up the seam, right up in the middle of the field. And unless the user's there, you can just wait for him to clear that mid-read, throw that there. And if you have, George Kittle or something, you can, go even further up the field from there. And so because of that, most people will take that middle read and convert him into a deep third there to be a little bit more sound down the middle. Though I will say if that number 3 wide receiver is Tyreek Hill, usually he'll just be able to beat him anyway. But anyway, so what happens here is that, they'll put one of these guys in a deep third and then they'll probably use the other guy. But in this case, or, in most cases, you're going to be outnumbered in the run game. Because this guy is not going to fit the run, he's going to immediately bail to his deep third. You'll be the user here, and then you'll have 4 other guys, but, the offense has the advantage here. There are 6 blockers against really, 5 defenders in that box. So then they can see that and easily just audible to a run play. And, assuming they don't get any block sheds or whatever, it's just pretty easy for them to run, especially in this year. Not only that, I feel like cover 2 is easier than ever to beat down the sideline. So even if they're setting up to defend the middle of the field, and even if you're not trying to run the ball against that really light box, you can just use a simple fade route and you can get easily open down that sideline there. You don't even need any special outside release fades or anything like that. You just wait for that wide receiver to kind of clear that cloud flat a little bit, outside pass lead, toe tap that, and that's an easy 20 to 30 yards. And there's, many other holes that I won't really bore you with on this video. Then cover 3, well, where are the weaknesses there? Well, one of the easiest ways that you can beat cover 3 for the past many years of Madden is that you see that single high, you see those corners playing off, you can just run that out route from the number 1 wide receiver, and assuming they didn't make any adjustments for cloud flats or anything like that, you can just get easy 10 yards all the way up and down the field, just like that and just like that. Then this year, more than any, is that if they are running cloud flats, that slot defender or that overhang defender is going to immediately bail from his slot, and he's going to be there to undercut that out route. But this year it's much easier to hit those seams too. So just watch this. All I have to do is watch that slot defender. If he engages with the slot wide receiver, I'll throw that out pattern. If he doesn't, I just throw the quick seamer. And that hook curl won't be able to get there in time this year. So just like this, I see that, rat catch that, and get even more yards that way. So really there's a lose-lose situation there. And cover 3 also, like I was saying, if you see that single high defense, it's pretty easy to tell that that's cover 3. Again, not many people are going to be running cover 1. Cover 2 is a little bit easier to disguise because, there are some, once you see the corners here in 5 yards, usually that's a giveaway. But you'll have certain coverages like cover 2 show 4, cover 2 press that are harder to decipher, especially all these 2 high safeties. It can be cover 4, it can be a lot of things. Cover 3 is a little bit more difficult to disguise. Even cover 3 like a buzz where you do have 2 safeties, then you're kind of removing what makes cover 3 good in terms of getting that extra defender in the box. You could base align all this stuff, but really this year base align it's going to be the death of you, because with these RPOs, with all that space, they can just RPO you to death. And even actually, to be honest, even if you don't base align, cover 2 and cover 3 are pretty bad against the RPO, especially cover 2. let me just get off this guy, is that, we all know this, the bubble over here. We're going to bring in that slot defender. We're going to block that cornerback, and then this is, easily 5 to 10 yards, as long as that block kind of holds up. Easy 8 yards, you can do that up and down the field. And, you can run that bubble against cover 3 as well, and it's going to be good. And then even cover 3 is this backside slant is a really, really good route to throw, good RPO to throw. You can get easy 15 yards that way as well. So really, cover 3 and cover 2, I showed you there, they're weak in many ways against the pass. They're really weak against the RPO, and we all know they can be much, much better against the run. With all these different run plays coming about, just setting up in regular cover 2 or regular cover 3 is going to get you beat. So let's go ahead and finally introduce this new kind of Tampa 3, cover 3 invert, whatever you want to call it, defense. So what is the defense? So it is just regular cover 3 sky out of big nickel over G. Unfortunately, it's really the only formation that you can do this out of. Luckily, it's in every playbook, and in my opinion, it's the best formation anyway. But what you're going to be doing is, first of all, taking your corners and putting them into cloud flats. So triangle, triangle, the icon and down. So really quickly, I can do that. You can also do hard flats if you want. You can also do soft squats if you want. But, your base is probably just going to be the cloud flats. And then you're going to take your overhang defenders. So Jones here and Jefferson the second over here. And you're going to put those into outside thirds. Just like here. And just like there. So this is going to be something, a little bit tricky to get your mind used to, is that, if I go to these hot routes, you can screw it up. So if you use the right stick on the left guy, you could put him in it across the field here, and then you're kind of, left exposed on the left side here. So the easiest way to think about it is just that you're reserving the left stick for the left down safety, and you're reserving the right stick on the right guy. So if you screw it up and use right stick right, he's going to turn into a deep half, which is okay anyway, right? Usually I want those deep thirds there because they're a little bit more sound. And then from there, so actually let's just go ahead and take a look at it here. This is essentially a cover 2 the way that we're used to it, right? We have 2 corners in the cloud flats, and we have those, deep outside guys, which are, usually deep halves in cover 2. But now you have your linebackers in hook curls, right? And you have a safety in the deep third. You don't have to have a linebacker going to the deep third and being outside of the run fit. You have a safety here. So this way you are a lot more sound in the run game, as well as a lot of different things, and we'll get into that. So that's all that it is, really. And, you can, reset that, and I'll show you how quickly we can do those adjustments. Just like that. The other side, just like that. Once you get used to it, it's just like clockwork, right? The other thing is big nickel over G. You can do other things. You can press. You can bring those guys down, and this is going to be safe. I'll show you in a minute. And then from the last patch, you can actually show blitz, and you can get them at 5 yards too if you want. So a number of different things you can do there. You can even do one guy backed off, one guy pressed, and it'll allow you to start doing a lot of disguise, which is another great thing that's going to be good about this. Okay, so that's the adjustments. Put those corners into clouds and putting those overhang guys into outside deep thirds. And then now we can go into what makes this coverage so good. So first of all, let's just kind of go over a one by one like I showed you at the beginning of this video, is that you're going to be much better in the deep middle of the field, right? Because now you no longer have that, pretty weak mid-read zone. You have this deep third, and you're having it from a safety coming from depth. And so you don't need to lose that run defender, and you're going to be sound in the middle of the field there. And then we could even press, right? We can press this guy over here, because what's good about this is that unlike regular cover 3, we can press knowing that we're safe over the top. So we can get, we can reroute this post route here, and then we have a number of guys there, and that's just never going to be a route that you'll be able to complete. So that's really one of the main principles about this, is that you can defend the middle of the field, and you can do that without getting rid of these aggressive, or somewhat aggressive run fitters and these linebackers. So now you have a proper 6 defenders against the 6 blockers. I showed you against the cover 2, you really had a 6 against 5, and you were just getting totally mauled in the run game. And then now you have this overhang guy, and there's actually a number of things that we can do to make the run game even better. There's one thing that I like to do, is that I will actually user the deep safety. So this does a number of things. First of all, it's going to be good with disguise later on when we start to bring in cover 1 and stuff like that. But we can actually bring him down, all the way down. We can create a 7-man box right here. So you have six blockers against 7 defenders in the box. So if you're somebody like, most people, you don't actually want to cover that deep middle third. So what you can do is you can just take the backside linebacker and you can replace him. You can put him over there and you can be that other hook defender. So now you're essentially still 6 against 6 because, like I was saying, against cover 2, if you put that guy in a deep third, he's essentially out of the run fit, right? So really 6 against 6, but he's still in the box count, right? He's out of the run fit, but he's in the box count. So, the offense doesn't know that he's not going to fit the run. So they still have to account for him. So what happens in Madden if you have 6 blockers, if you have 1 less blocker? Well, they have to leave the backside guy, the backside end, uncontained. Unblocked. So what's going to happen here if I just go ahead and run any run play, in this case 0-1 trap is actually a pretty quick hitter, but anyway, I'll run that and that guy's going to be free. So what that means is that although in some cases he'll actually just stop there, I wish he could just be aggressive. I wish we could tell him, don't worry about the potential read, especially in this case, it's under center. You're never, I guess on a naked bootleg, maybe the quarterback can come back. But in a lot of cases, he's going to be aggressive there. And what that means is that he can't really cut that back, and he really can't run it in the box there. So especially against shotgun, you're gonna essentially force your opponent to kick that outside. Okay, so again, we'll just run that here. Deep third, we can even do our other things over here. And by the way, even though this guy and then the other cover down over here, even though those guys are deep thirds, they're actually still in the run fit. So they're not going to bail immediately, they're going to actually come down. So I don't know why it doesn't apply to them, but it is what it is. So again, we're going to run that. And in this case, the backside defender is free again. So you'll actually want to get a pretty speedy guy there. So try to get your speedy ends. Don't even worry about block shed, because in this case, our run defense is how we're setting up our gaps, okay, and how we're setting up our alignment rather than getting big block shedders. You want speed across the board. You want speed on that end so that when he is unblocked, he's going to come in and make a play on that running back. So you're essentially eliminating the middle of the field. He's going to have to kick that out. And there's things we can do there, right? This is something I introduced last time too. We can man align this cover 3. This is actually only going to work against trip sets, but we can man align that cover 3. The only kind of issue there is that you're going to have to put this front side guy on the deep third, because this guy's covering the flat and you won't be able to do your invert on the left side. Anyway, those are the run fits, how we're going to play the run. Let's get back to a few of the passes here. Let's go down the sideline like I showed you against cover 2. Let's just go ahead and just do the right side over here. We can press, we can do whatever we want. We can show blitz, anything. But you'll see that, and I'll show you the exact same setup that I used to easily beat the Tampa 2, where once he clears that cloud flat, my deep third here does a much better job than the deep half in terms of squeezing that sideline. So he'll clear the cloud flat, but if I try to throw that, you have the deep third right there, easy, ready to make a play on that ball. So much, much better than the deep halves in terms of squeezing that sideline. Let's go to some of the things that we're using to beat cover 3, right? So let's go ahead and do our quick adjustments. We're just worried about the right side here, so we're not going to do both sides. But again, so let's try these out routes here. Let's actually just preoccupy this guy a little bit. Try the out route. Well, we got a cloud flat waiting there to make a play on the ball, right? And so this is actually something that you can trap your opponent with, right? So if you're running even just a regular cover 3, he's going to throw that. Maybe he'll throw that once, say, oh, okay, that's something I have. But then you can just quickly change that side to an inverted cover 3, and now that cornerback is playing the flat there, and he can easily jump that out route. In that case, it was a pass defense, but in most cases, it's going to be a pick or a pick 6 even. So this is actually something that's good that I'll touch on a little bit in terms of how great this is in disguise, is that just one coverage, we can run all sorts of things. We can run regular cover 3, we can run what is essentially a cover 2 in this case, and then you're going to be better against the middle of the field, you're going to be better against the deep down the sidelines, you're going to be better against these outcuts right here, throw that here, in this case, see, it was an interception. So really, really good stuff, really tough stuff. So I showed you with cover 3 is that, if we ran those cloud flats, we could take away those out routes. It wasn't impossible to defend that with a regular cover 3, but we were much worse down the seam, right? Because this guy would, leave his assignment immediately, and we can just quick throw that slot before the hook curl or the corner or the deep third can get there. But in this case, we can defend both the sideline on the out, and we can be a little bit better against the seam. We're not super great, but we're there, right? Because that deep third is still going to be there a little bit, and we can't quick throw that, right? We can try to quick throw that, and that guy's going to be there. Okay, so maybe there are ways that maybe if we can, I still haven't, try to beat it myself too much, but I haven't had any issues down the seam. We could even wait a little bit, try to throw that a little bit longer, maybe, but it is much tighter than before. And one of the last things I want to kind of go over here, just as a side note, is that we've all seen this, bunch vertical plays that is really, really tough. Actually, most coverages have issues with it, but cover 3 had issues with it. Previous years and this year's also is that curl flat defender right here is kind of keying a little bit on that wheel route from Wilson and a little bit from that crosser from Grant. And of course, that cornerback has to bail into his deep third. So if you motion out this wheel from Williams here, it's just an easy pitch and catch. Now, that was a bad throw, but you see he had 10, 15 yards of space. Then, if I want to defend that, I could do what a lot of people do is just run those cloud flats, maybe move this guy out a little bit so I can be a little bit more sound against this wheel route here. But shading to create those cloud flats will remove the really only one match concept that is left of this coverage, and that is this guy, this backside hook, is going to match crossers in a 3-by-1 formation. So in this case, because I shaded, that removes that match concept, and this guy is going to be free right here for easy 20 yards or so. So one of the great things about this coverage that I'm introducing to you guys is that we can get cloud flats, we can get hard flats, we can get soft squats onto the field without having to shade, essentially. So we still have this backside hook here that can cover crossers for us, and this year they do that a lot better. And then we can just, use this guy, or we can use the deep third here. So we'll just go ahead and run this, and I might need to do an instant replay just to show you how it kind of works out. You see the wheels covered there, and if I have some time, I can show you that the crosshair is covered as well. So to the instant replay here, we can show you over here, we can't quick throw this, and even once he clears the cloud flat, you have a deep third here that's ready to kind of squeeze that throw. So that's a really tight throw, and actually against regular cover 2, this is something that can be thrown, but against this kind of inverted cover 3, it really can't be, and I can maybe even show that after this. Then the crosser over here, you'd wall that off a little bit yourself, and then the backside hook would take that, and you can never throw that as well. So just to show you guys that you can't really wait for that wheel to clear that cloud flat, I'm just going to go ahead and run it just the same. And if I have a little bit of time in the pocket, I can wait for him to clear that cloud, and he doesn't really have anything here. And actually, it looked like that wheel in the middle got open, but again, I want to show you guys that that really isn't the case. So if I run that again, cloud here, deep third, and I'll try to run that wheel from Wilson there. Actually, if you want to be a little bit more sound, move this guy to the actual middle of the field. I don't know why he's way over there. So we'll go ahead, wait for that deep third to clear, try to throw that, and then you have that deep third there to ready to make a play. So one last thing, I just want to quickly touch on RPOs. Remember at the beginning of this video, I show you guys how these bubbles can really be really tough against cover 2. In this case, we don't even really have to do anything. We just run our regular coverage as we are. And for whatever reason, the wide receiver here has a really tough time blocking that cloud flat. So you can, see this. He doesn't get blocked, and you can easily make a play in the backfield there. And then against the backside slant on those lookies, you're good there too, because this cloud flat is going to be a little bit more aggressive on that slant. And then this deep third is going to be drifting back a little bit. And he's going to get in the way as well. So I'll just go ahead and audible to my Power Alert X lookie, and I'll try to throw that, and it's just a really tough throw. Though it is there, it's really, really tough. The last thing I really want to note here is that if you're coming up in a situation like this where you have this overhang defender really close to the edge of the box here, so you'll see that maybe in doubles sets if the tight end is set to the field, or in cases like this where they're running trips and they're putting the 3 trips into the boundary here, it is a long way for this guy to make it back, and he can in regular just a regular pass play, but in a play action, because again, I said that he is in the run fit. He is still in the run fit, even though it doesn't show it here. You can get burnt. Okay, so what I would do is maybe even just run pass commit. Pass commit, you're going to be fine because, again, we're going to be running crazy 7 guys in the box doing this type of thing, and then you can really pass commit because we're going to have a free edge defender. And then this guy is, deep thirding anyway. But what you can do is just really, you can just leave it on that side, right? You don't need to do it to both sides. You can leave a cover 3 on that side, and you can run the inverted cover 3 on this side. So that's what's really, really good about this, is that, again, the possibilities are really endless, right? You can run just cover 3 as it is. You can run the invert to one side. You can run the invert to both sides. You could call this at a cover 3 match. You can come out and cover 3 match, and although cover 3 match doesn't match 1x3, you can have match on one side, cover 2 on the other side, or if I had cover 1 here, you could even run cover 1 on one side and cover 2 on the other side. You can do an endless amount of things with the same look. You don't have to go between cover 2, go between cover 3. It's all really the same thing. You're just making the adjustments as you see fit. And then you can even run cover 1 as it is, and then you can be that deep safety in cover 1, and then you don't have to give anything away in terms of, okay, cover 3 I use of this guy, and cover 1 I use of this guy. So a lot of really, really great things to do here, and I know this is a lot to give you guys, but I hope you can find a lot of use out of this. I'm running it a lot, having a ton of fun with it. I'm sure I missed some things that I wanted to touch on, but by and large, that's it. I hope you guys really appreciate that. If you did, I like what helped out. Let me know how it goes if you run it. Please come back to the video, drop a comment, or find me on Twitter. Say I'm having success here, I'm having difficulties here, and we can discuss it a little bit further. Okay, that's it for this one, guys, and I'll see you in the next one.